What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the all-new 2025 Chevy Equinox LT. So the 2025 Equinox here has been completely redesigned. You're going to notice new stylings on the outside, new stylings on the inside, new technology, all that kind of stuff on this model. And you can probably kind of tell it's been just kind of elevated up to being on the same level as all the other modern Chevy SUVs right now. So a lot of the same stylings, a lot of the same stuff is just going to be kind of across the board. It basically looks now to me like a baby Traverse. Well, one of the updated Traverses. It kind of loses its classic Equinox look, in my opinion, and kind of just looks like every other SUV now. Some people are going to love that, some people are going to hate that, and I completely understand both sides of that. But it's got a very kind of big front end now. It's always kind of had a longer nose, but this is kind of a big bulky front end. Again, very in line with all the other SUVs that Chevy is making right now. Here on this LT trim, you're gonna have this high gloss grille here, gold Chevy bow tie. You're gonna have some low profile LED running lights, and then you're gonna have LED main beams and high beams in this lower cluster here with some little accent fogs at the bottom. And you are gonna have LED taillights in the back as well. But you do have a front facing camera that's gonna work with your HD surround vision. And this is an LT, this is the lowest trim level you can get, and you still get that HD surround vision on here, which is awesome. So it's basically standard. Body colored piece here, some plastic cladding down here at the bottom with this air intake area, but pretty minimal here on the front end. You do have some higher trim levels. You've got an RS and an active trim. Those are both gonna have the same starting price, but are gonna have different feature sets on them. So just depends on what you want. But again, that's bringing it in line with everything else that Chevy's doing right now. So same with like the Trax and the Trailblazer, those have the active and the RS as the highest trims. No longer do you have a Premier trim here on the Equinox, at least not that's been announced yet. Now this is the LT trim, so it's basically the base model trim. We're gonna be going over everything this has to offer kind of as a first look, but as soon as we get an RS and an active on the lot, we'll be taking a look at those. And if you are cross-shopping between the 2024 and 2025 models, I'm gonna be doing a comparison video between those so you can see every single kind of visual difference and package difference between those two models. So hit subscribe so you don't miss that. Now you've only got one engine option here. It is a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, 175 horsepower, 203 pound-feet of torque. That's gonna get you 29 miles per gallon highway, 24 miles per gallon city on this all-wheel drive version. Now there's two versions. There's the front wheel and the all-wheel drive. The front wheel drive is gonna be paired with a CVT transmission, and then this all-wheel drive model here is gonna be paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. But dimensionally speaking, the 2025 is a little bit wider and a little bit taller. And I think you really notice that height difference when you're driving inside the cabin. It feels really tall, which the old Equinox didn't really feel that way. The old Equinox felt like an SUV, but you know, like kind of a compact SUV. This one feels pretty substantial, even though dimensionally it is a pretty small increase. Now, if we work our way over to the side, you'll notice you get some cladding up around the wheel wells here. And then this one here is sitting on these 19-inch black machined aluminum alloy wheels. They're a two-tone wheel, look really nice here, but nice big 19-inch wheels. Body colored side mirrors, they're manual folding. They are heated. They've got the cameras up underneath, but no turn signals built into these ones. Keyless access on the door panels here with this little button. You got your Equinox word mark here on the side, some cladding that runs across the bottom. But again, just stylistically, so similar to other Chevy models that we've got going on right now. This part especially reminds me a lot of the new Traverse and even something like the Tahoe and Suburban. It pulls some of those accents from that. This one does not have any roof rails and it does not have a sunroof up top, but you can get those as options. You can also get a two-tone roof option, and there's plenty of different color combos that you can go with. All right, so moving here to the tailgate of the redesigned Equinox. Like I said, you do have LED taillights back here. Again, very in line with what we've been seeing, kind of this Y-shaped design that we've seen on all of Chevy's modern SUVs here. You got Equinox badging, all-wheel drive badging, Chevy badging, and that's about it, which I really appreciate. Back here, you do have a rear camera, and then up underneath here, you'll notice you have your smart rear view mirror camera as well, which is a big deal, again, since this is a base model, so it's basically standard. This one just has the safety and technology package, which is about $1,000, but it is still nice that on something that's only about $34,000, you do get some really nice advanced features like that. You do have a light up top, a little bit of a body colored spoiler to keep stuff off that back windshield. You have tinted rear glass and a tiny little wiper, some ultrasonic sensors dotted around, and with the all-wheel drive model, you can tow 1,500 pounds. You can get a power liftgate option on some higher trims. This one does not have it, but you do have a manual gate that you can open up. As you can see here, the button for the power gate is stamped in, just nothing there. But then once we do open it up, you get about 30 cubic feet of cargo space with the second row seats up. If you fold those down, you get about 64 cubic feet of cargo space. You've got some cloth mats back here, and then some underfloor storage here. And then if you go down one more level, you do get a spare tire down there. There's some LED lights in here, room for a cargo shade, room for a cargo net, hooks, all the stuff we're used to seeing. But it's a pretty simplified back end back here, but you do get some nice storage space. All right, so hopping here inside the cabin of the redesigned Equinox, like I've continued to mention, so many elements pulled from all of Chevy's other modern SUVs. You got these big dual screens here. You've got your little shift stalk here on the right side, light and wiper combo stalk on the left. All of it just pulls from all of its older siblings here. So I think it all works. It all feels like, a modern Chevy vehicle, but let's go ahead and just work our way across and talk about everything. Now, again, this is the base model, so you're gonna have some pretty low quality materials on the door panels. You have a kind of a hard rubber here, a little bit of a scratchy textured rubber on the door panels, a little bit of gloss black plastic, and then just hard black plastic all the way down. I'm assuming this is going to stay the case even on the highest trim levels, but you can get some more contrasty cabins with some higher end, top materials. The bottom parts are gonna all be plastic. You do get this like cylindrical vent design that twists and pivots inside of its socket. That's pulled straight off of everything else that we've been seeing off of the Trax, off of the Trailblazer, off of the Blazer, off of the Traverse, off of the Tahoe, off of everything, even some of the electric vehicles. That same material set kind of runs across the top of the dash. It's all like pretty low contrast. It's all gray basically, or black. Texture here, some plastic bits up here, and then hard black all the way down. Center console has some more gloss black and some of this kind of textured design throughout on these different little pockets and pads and things. Then the center armrest is more of that textured kind of rubbery material. Back here on the left side, you've got an electronic parking brake, your all-wheel drive button, auto vehicle hold button, auto start stop engine button, and then your brightness controls for your two displays. Then you have a comedically large, as Chevy's been doing recently, steering wheel here. It does actually feel like a leather wrapped steering wheel, and I'm gonna assume that it is since it's heated, but you've got some contrast stitching on the inside, paddle shifters on the back, combo light and wiper stalk on the left side, and then that shift stalk on the right side. Adaptive cruise control controls on the left side, as well as your low mode, and then you've got all of your media controls and your heated steering wheel button on the right side. Now past the steering wheel, you're gonna have an 11-inch driver information display, and then over on the right, you're gonna have an 11.3-inch driver infotainment system, and this is the highest end size that you can get on the Equinox. So you can't get the big 17.7-inch screen that you can get on some higher end, larger vehicles, just the 11.3-inch system. So basically dual 11-inch screens here, just one's for driver and one's for the infotainment system. So no upgrades available there, but it is still a nice system, powered by Google. I've looked at it in a million videos now. You've got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto because they don't care about your safety. On the gas-powered vehicles, that's only a concern on the electric vehicles. Got a full cameraing menu. You've got Wi-Fi hotspot built in. All of your Google apps default, so Google Assistant, Play Store, Google Maps, Google Podcasts, Google News, all that kind of stuff. Then of course you're gonna have your backup camera because you got a full 360-degree camera system. Push to start engine button, 2 vents down here, and then you've got all of your manual climate controls down here. It just looks like a single zone climate control system. You do have vents for driver and passenger, but no individually adjustable climate. You do have heated seats for driver and passenger. Underneath that, you get a little pocket, 1 USB-C port, 1 USB-A port. Then you have what looks like would be a Qi-enabled wireless charging pad on higher end models. I don't think it has it here. Then you get a little pocket here, 2 cup holders, then a armrest that you can open up, tiny little tray that you could remove, but no additional ports down there. And then a standard glove box over there on the right side. Up top, like I said, that smart rearview mirror camera that can be switched between a standard mirror and that camera version. You've got SOS buttons up here, black liner up top. And then as far as the seating surfaces go, these are just very bottom barrel black cloth seats. They do have a little bit of a textured bit in the middle with some accented designs, but these are the lowest tier seats that you're gonna be able to get on any Equinox. So no leather, no accent stitching, no piping. Well, they do have accent stitching, to be fair. Very bottom of the barrel, heated for driver and passenger, and they are both manually adjustable seats. Since this is a shift-by-wire system on this stock, you get this whole bottom portion opened up, so you've got a little pocket down here. I don't think you have a 12-volt outlet, which is kind of crazy. This may be the first vehicle I've ever seen that doesn't have one. I don't think you have a 12-volt outlet. All right. Hopping here into the back seat of the Equinox here. I had this seat pretty much all the way back, but this gives you a pretty good idea if you have a really tall driver back here, what your rear passenger legroom's gonna be like. And you can see I've got probably like 2-3 inches of rear legroom here. You can tuck your feet up underneath. If this seat were a good bit forward, you'd have, decent bit more legroom. The headroom is really, really good. I've got plenty of headroom here. Shoulder room's not amazing, but again, this is a pretty small SUV, so that's to be expected. You do have rear vents back here, 2 USB-C ports, which is always nice. Door panel materials are gonna be pretty pedestrian. This is just plastic all the way down. You do have mat pockets in the back of the seats. You can fold this down for an armrest, and then 2 more cup holders here, and you do have cup holders at the bottom of your doors here. So overall, decently comfortable back here. Nothing crazy, but the seats aren't uncomfortable. But with that armrest down, feels real nice. 2 adults back here are gonna be okay. 3 kids are gonna have no problem back here, especially because the floor is completely flat back here, which is really nice. So 3 kids not gonna have an issue. 2 adults are gonna be fine for a decent period of time, but not forever. You're gonna need a little break eventually. All right, let's take the 2025 Equinox for a little test drive. When I say little, I mean probably pretty little. We have 39 miles left. Not that we ever go that far, but just want to be cognizant of not running out of gas, because that's not fun. So like I said, just one engine option here in 2025, a 1.5 liter turbo, 175 horsepower, 203 pound-feet of torque, 29 miles per gallon highway, 24 miles per gallon city here on the all-wheel drive. You'll get a little bit better mileage on the front-wheel drive that has the CVT, not the 8-speed manual like this one has, but just slightly. We'll get it out here and just give it a little juice. It's economical. It sounds good, but it's not fast by any means. I want to come to a complete stop here. We're just gonna go pedal floor. That was 45. That was pedal to the floor and we just got to 45. It's an Equinox, guys. It's a 1.5 liter Equinox. Not gonna blow you away. It's nothing special. If you want a fun Equinox driving experience, get the all-wheel drive Equinox EV, and then you'll have some fun. And that actually brings up an interesting video kind of topic idea that I've been working on, and that is comparing the 2025 Equinox gas-powered to the 2024 Equinox EV in similar trims. It's a little bit tough to find them at the same price point. Typically speaking, the electric version is gonna be a good bit more expensive. That's just the cost of batteries right now. We'll do our best to compare certain trim levels and just kind of show you what you get between the two, power-wise, speed-wise, design-wise, all that kind of stuff. So be on the lookout for that video. But yeah, outside of it just not being quick, doesn't look like there's any driving modes on this one that I can switch between. I can turn off all-wheel drive though, put it in front-wheel drive mode. But let's talk about 3 things that I like and 3 things that I don't like as much about the redesigned Equinox here. I think the first thing that I really like is just having some of those really nice technology features even on this lowest trim level in that safety and technology package. And that is the rear view mirror camera and the HD surround vision. I love having that. That's such a nice premium tech feature, and it fits in. I really think it should be standard at this point. I know it's not quite there, but getting pretty close, and pairing it with all of the other, technology and big screens and stuff you have makes it feel like a pretty modern vehicle, which it should because it's a redesigned 4th generation Equinox. Let's get a DB test at city speeds. Right around 66 dB. Another thing I like is all the storage little compartments and things. You have plenty of little pockets and under, console storage here that's nice, and inside the center console, inside the glove box. So lots of storage space in here, which is good because you're gonna be hauling a family around in this most likely. It's tough to find a third thing that really stands out since this is the base model, but I really do like the design of these vents. I know that's kind of a nitpicky positive, but I really think it's a cool design, how you can twist it and pivot it around and all that kind of stuff, and it clicks. I don't know, I just like it stylistically. Well, let's talk about some things that I don't care for as much. The first thing is, while I like the redesign in certain places, I think overall, it looks too much like a Traverse, and it's just not my favorite overall design. I don't think it's better than last year's design. I much prefer the design of the Equinox EV versus the Equinox gas-powered, and then not just because it's an EV, but just the overall styling of it. And I wish they had gone a little bit more down that route, but I understand why they didn't. They want to keep them separate. But this just feels very much like a cheaper Traverse. And maybe that's great, maybe that's what you want. The second thing is kind of a tough one because again, this is the base model, it's like the entry level, so you're not gonna expect premium materials, but just overall the materials on the door panel, not the best. The seats, although they are completely cloth seats, they're pretty comfortable, surprisingly. But that's kind of a 50-50 positive and negative. But just overall, the material quality is not the best. And you're still paying $34,000. And then the last thing that is not my favorite, again, I'm nitpicking here, but it's the design language of the infotainment system and the driver information display. I think they work great. I think Chevy's done a good job making them fluid and responsive, but just the design is not my favorite, and that's been consistent ever since Chevy came out with this updated system. I do like that they gave you Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless though, even though they don't give you that on the Equinox EV for safety reasons. But now that we're hopping on the highway, we can get a DB test and test out our adaptive cruise control. We're at about 71, 72 dB on the highway. And while we don't have any kind of lane keep or anything like that, I don't know if you can get Super Cruise either. I need to check on that. I don't think so, but potentially that would be your only bet there. The adaptive cruise control is working well. I want to get a little acceleration test here on the highway to kind of see how we do. I mean, I'm just be completely blunt with you guys. It takes forever to get up to speed. It's not super easy to pass. A little 1.5 liter is doing its best. I'm putting the pedal to the floor. Again, it sounds awesome for being a 1.5 liter, but it's just so slow. I would love to have another engine option, but again, you do have the EV, so you can get that. About 46 dB at idle. So overall, what are my thoughts on the redesigned Equinox? I think that it is a fitting redesign based on everything that Chevy's done recently. I think it's perfectly in line. I think it looks, again, like I said earlier, like a baby Traverse now. Most people, I think, are really gonna like that. For me, I think it's a little too samey, and it kind of gets rid of some of the uniqueness between some of the vehicles, and I think it makes it harder to differentiate between, you know, what vehicle you're actually looking at. I like it in some instances, like I like standardization of some things, but I don't know if I like the standardization of exteriors because it makes picking between the models just more complicated for consumers, and I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I get that you're just picking off of size, like the Traverse is a certain size, and the Tahoe's a certain size, and maybe you just love the design across the board and you just want to pick based off size and cargo volume and passenger volume and stuff. And if that's the case, then sure, standardization is awesome. But if you want some uniqueness between the different models, you're really kind of starting to lose that a little bit. And we've seen this in other brands. This isn't just a Chevy thing. I think it's a little bit sad. But I'm very interested to check out some of the more high-end models and see how the materials increase and improve and just test out some of that stuff. But overall, the base here is pretty stinking nice and comes with some really great features. So I think it is well worth checking out at $34,000. And if you guys want to watch a review on the Equinox EV, I've made several. I've covered the all-wheel drive over on my tech channel, Mets Tech. I'll have that link down below. And as well as the front-wheel drive model on this channel, I'll have that link down below as well. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the 2025 Chevy Equinox LT. Let's talk about it down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to be among the first to see every single new video the second I hit publish. We'll see you in the next one.